Let us talk. Let us talk. All right. So, before we get into this one, I would like to say congratulations to the LA Lakers. You know, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and company for capturing that championship. That's dope. It was good to see it. You feel me? And I don't say that because I'm a LeBron fan or because I'm a Lakers fan. Honestly, I don't really care. I never really did. You know, but all this negativity around LeBron, all these newfound and very fake Clippers fans that came out of nowhere, all these people that decided Kawhi Leonard was on the same level, if not better than LeBron. It was good to see y'all have to shut the hell up. I ain't gonna lie to you, that was beautiful. You know, Kawhi ain't never been that. He never been that, bro. Like, Kawhi Leonard is Kawhi Leonard. Let that man be him. It's the same Kawhi Leonard that got Finals MVP for holding LeBron to 28, 8, and 8. Yeah, bang up job. No, cut it out. I love sports, man. I love sports. You know, and as our basketball season is now over, I'm gonna touch on something that I haven't before. A lot of people have, but I'm gonna do it in a different way. I normally do things in my own way, obviously. Now, as far as basketball goes, right? Like, I'm a basketball fan and I'm a football fan as well. But I think about basketball in a different way. You know, as far as the football goes, I'm a fan, but I have my teams, right? Like, I'm a Lions fan, diehard Lions fan, that'll be forever. And I'm also a Houston Texans fan. Now, I've always been a Houston Texans fan, but obviously I was a Lions fan first. Facts, right? For me, and this is just my way of thinking on it, like, there's been obviously hundreds of players that have come into the league and that have gone up out of the league, but I've always liked these teams. Like, this has been it for me. It was kind of Detroit and Houston. Now, when I was younger and didn't necessarily know too much about players and stuff like that, it was just like, oh, I like these jerseys, or maybe just one player, then it was different. But once I got to a point where I liked the sport and played the sport, it was like, okay, well, these are my teams who I rock with. It's a little bit different for me in the NBA. I don't really have teams in the NBA, or it's not really one team that I just kind of like scout and watch and keep up with. Now, I mean, it is, but then it's not. Let me explain. For me, it's just players that I follow. You know, current players that I like. You know, I'm a big Ben Simmons fan. That's my guy. I like Jamal Murray. I like Jamal Murray before Denver got into the playoffs and went berserk on everybody. I was already a fan. Look it up. Check my page. And, you know, Nikola Jokic, and, you know, players like that. Like, these are my current favorite players right now, for sure. So it's not necessarily the team per se. If these players were to be traded, I probably would just follow them wherever they kind of went, you know. And even the past players that I liked Darren Williams. I was a big Darren Williams fan. I was a Gilbert Arenas fan, you know. I've always liked players that had something to prove, a chip on their shoulder, like people that didn't come in and was highly touted, highly scouted, and everybody wanted to see him. And I like a good underdog story. Always did. You know, Gilbert Arenas was Agent Zero. You know, that was his shit. You know, so when he came in, he was like the silent killer that kind of went under the radar. Loved that about him. So I was a big Gilbert Arenas fan. And D. Will came in the league with Chris Paul, and I always thought D. Will was better than Chris Paul. So that's another reason why I liked him. He played for like a really, really young but up and coming Utah team. So I liked D. Will or whatever. Never was a Utah fan, but D. Will was my guy. I say all that to say, like a lot of people, I didn't like Brian when he came into the league. You know, I thought Brian was whiny. I thought he got his way a lot. I thought he needed a lot of help. You know, a lot of the stuff that y'all, let me not say y'all, but people have to say about Brian now. And I thought that because he was so highly touted when he came in. You know, I got a chance to watch the Kobe's, AIs, and KGs and players like that we grew up on when we was young. But for me, I never wanted to be the person that just woke up one day and said, I like this player who's already a star. I like to think of myself as being able to look at someone play and say, hey, this person has it, this person's gonna be good. And for the most part, I've been able to do that. You know, I said when Jamal Murray got drafted, third out of Kentucky, and he's from Canada. Look it up. I said Jamal Murray gonna be good. He looks like a poor man's Stephen Curry. you know. And so for me, I didn't grow up a KG fan, an AI fan, a Kobe fan. Like I like people that were a little lesser, you know. I love, still do. I hate that he ain't really been himself, but Isaiah Thomas, and not Detroit Isaiah Thomas. Obviously, I love Isaiah Thomas, but 5'9" Isaiah Thomas, you know. I'm only 5'8", unfortunately. God bless me with everything but height. Appreciate it. But, you know, he's 5'9". He's 5'9", dominating, was dominating the league in a sport where height matters. It's supposed to matter at least. Feel me? So I always liked Isaiah Thomas, you know. Isaiah Thomas, he do it for us. You feel what I'm saying? So that's been my thing, you know, with football too, but a lot more with basketball. Because the league is really ran by the superstars, but not necessarily the team. And LeBron showed you that. LeBron has been 3 different spots, and he was the team. Outside of LA, obviously he had AD. I would never want to disrespect AD, but still, you know, Brown was his own system until he got to LA. So everywhere he went, he's had success, right? But other than that, the superstars really run it. It is what it is. Now I say all that to say, when they won the ring, Brian said, "Give me my respect too." I brought it back to LA, and you know, this is for Kobe and everything else politically correct that he was supposed to say. But he also said, "Give me my damn respect too." So we're gonna do this a little different. This ain't gonna be a LeBron versus Michael Jordan video. This is gonna be a, let's look at some of the shit Michael Jordan didn't do. Let's look at some of his failures, because all we decide to do is pinpoint and pick on everything we feel like LeBron James does not do well and things that he didn't do well coming into this moment. He just won a ring, and that's all people want to talk about. And we really have been brainwashed with this impression that Michael Jordan was perfect. He did everything right. He never lost. He won every game. And it's just not true. Simply not true. So I'm going to try my best not to even mention Bron anymore. It's all about Michael Jordan. Let's go throw rocks at the sun real quick, right? So Michael Jordan is drafted in 1984. 1984, you know. Michael Jordan won his first ring in 1991. Right? It's about a 6 year span, 7 year span. Do you know how much winning Michael Jordan did in that span? Would you like to know how much winning Michael Jordan did in that span? Well, I will tell you. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. I got my notes right here. I wrote it all down. I got you. From 84 to 91, first time he got to the playoffs, Michael Jordan lost 3-1 to the Bucks in 1985. Michael Jordan was swept by the Boston Celtics in 1986. Michael Jordan lost to the bad boy Pistons. No, you know what? False. Michael Jordan was swept by the Celtics in 86 and 87. Facts. Scottie Pippen is then drafted at the top of 88. At the back end of 87, Pippen is drafted. So we take it from there. In 88, 89, and 90, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen lost to the Detroit Bad Boy Pistons. That is from 84 to 1990. He was drafted at 84. Now, did you know that? Did y'all know that? It's the shit they don't talk about with Jordan. And I said it earlier, maybe yesterday. I never want to come off as me just blatantly hating on Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. The aura and the mystique behind that name is forever. You know, Jordan ain't been in the league years, and people are still cute over his fucking shoe right now. True enough. So I get it, and I get the people that's like, no, he did go. That's fine. You know, I'm not really here to argue that right now. I'm here to show you that the man was human. That is all. Y'all kill our other player for everything under the sun. Passing, not passing, being too old, not old enough. He only this good because he played this long. Stop it. So this is not hate. This is all facts. This is all common knowledge. You can go look this. You don't need any clearance to go and look up the information that I'm feeding to you. All right, so that's from 84 to 1990. Jordan breaks through and he wins his first ring in 91. And this is the start of the first three-peat. So from 91, 2, 3, Jordan kills it. He's killing it. Did you know there is a statue in Chicago? It's called the Spirit. Probably one of the words is the Spirit. That is what Michael Jordan's statue in Chicago was called. It's called the Spirit. But do you know when they created it and then put it on display? 94. A lot of our birth years, right? Again, this is the first three-peat. It is a three-peat, and at this point, this is the only three-peat ever in NBA history. Factual. That's a fact. I say that to say, after not winning anything for 6 years, and then winning 3 back-to-back, and that's not to sweep that under the rug at all, or to downplay that like that. That wasn't something that was great, because at the time it was very great, and it still is. It still is. But he already had a statue. They had already anointed him the greatest ever, the greatest to do it. Magic's still around, Kareem's is still around, Bird on the back half, probably if not already out the league, but it's still some heavy hitters in the league. And his first few rings, he's already been anointed the greatest. But y'all won't do that for the other guy. Y'all won't do that for the other guy. You know, we are so brainwashed into believing that Michael Jordan only played 6 years in the NBA. You know, because when you give a Michael Jordan supporter facts and numbers, then it's not about the numbers, because his numbers don't always support his case anymore. The other guys kind of made that. He's given that case a run for his money. So when you kick out the numbers, what do they then say? 6-0 in the finals. True facts. 6-0 in the finals. Contrary to popular belief, Michael Jordan played 15 years in the NBA, not 6. 15 years. So what happened the other 9 years? 86. You know? And it's like, oh, well, Jordan would have won more if he didn't. Well, he would have won more if he didn't. Not my fault. Not my fault that he wasn't as good, facts, and he wasn't as highly touted as the other guy coming out of high school. He needed college. And nobody saw this at UNC. Nobody saw him being that at UNC. They saw him being another great player and factual, but nobody saw him being that at the University of North Carolina. It's a fact. This is what it is. He was getting cut off JV teams. He just wasn't that, and nobody saw that. While the other guy was, you know, already the chosen one by the age of 16. Sir. Then, you know, people will bring up the level of competition. They feel like, you know, the East was weak, and he just dominated the East. And he did. The other guy did dominate the East. But then they'll tell you that Jordan dominated the league. Jordan didn't dominate a conference, he dominated the league. Nobody ate, they'll tell you. Nobody else won anything while Jordan was winning and going on his run and doing this damage in the league. And that's only partially true. They only ever tell you the partial truth about Michael Jordan. All right, like I said, contrary to popular belief, Michael Jordan played 15 years. We only ever talk about 6. What about them other years, bro? Well, I have a list in front of me of all the people that won rings at the same time Michael Jordan was in the NBA, and this is not counting the leagues he decided to retire, which is his own right. He chose that. He retired because he didn't want to play for anybody but Phil Jackson. Fine. And then he retired after what happened with his pops. Fine. But he chose that. Same way he chose to go to college. These are all choices. And the fact that that has to be thrown up because the other guy didn't do any of that, it's foolishness. It's foolishness. Bird won in the same league as Jordan. Mind you, and this is a stat that I didn't even know, just found this out today. Do you know that Michael Jordan never beat Larry Bird in the playoffs? Never won a series off of him. And you're probably like, well, okay, but he had a bunch of Hall of Famers with him. Let me revise that stat. Michael Jordan never beat Larry Bird, period. Not in just a series, a game. a game. He didn't get a game off of Larry Bird. But you the GOAT. Y'all don't hold the other guy to that standard. Y'all don't say he was going up against this many tyrants and this many Hall of Famers. No, he just got to get it done, even though he going up against a 73-9 win team. No, we didn't talk about that for him. Of course not. We didn't talk about the fact that he led both teams in 2016 in points, assists, blocks, rebounds, and steals for both teams. I don't want to talk about that. He's got to get it done. He got to win. Okay. So Bird won rings. Kareem and Magic obviously won rings. Isaiah Thomas won rings. Clyde Drexler won rings. Kobe obviously won rings. Shaq and Kobe won rings. And Tim Duncan and David Robinson won rings. This is all in the same league as Michael Jordan. People, we gotta stop with this. It's okay to say that this person will be the GOAT in my eyes forever. That's fine. But if you're gonna argue, make a compelling argument. That's all. It can't always be, well, he's just doing the finals in the discussion. Well, not really. Not really, because he played more than that. So if he really was the GOAT and couldn't nobody touch him, he dominated everything every season, why ain't he got 15 rings and 15 MVPs and 15 finals MVPs? Why is that? Because that's not how to win. And you can't keep breaking it down to where it's only these 6 years, but then he still won this amount of MVPs, but he still won this amount of Defensive Player of the Years, and he still made this many first team all offenses and first team all. You can't do that, right? You either gonna take them 6 years and run with them, or we're gonna talk about his career as a whole. We ain't even talked about the fact that Jordan came back in 2000. He came back in 2000 and played for the Wizards. They don't even want to talk about the fact that he did that. He was a front office guy and decided he had an itch he still wanted to scratch. This is his words, actually. Google it. His word. He had an itch he had to scratch, so he came back and tried to figure it out again. They don't even want you to know he came back and played for the Washington Wizards. He did that. I don't want to talk about that. So then when we get away from the 6-0 thing, just like, you know what, he has more rings. And my normal rebuke to that would be, okay, well, if we're talking about rings, then why ain't it Bill Russell? But I get it. Bill Russell played in the league when there was like 8 teams or so. Shit, Bill Russell might have played before the shot clock era. Some G shit, so I get it. That's whatever. That's weird, right? But let me throw you another stat out there. Again, this is all public information. Just Google it. If you question anything I have to say, Google it. There are currently, right now, 9 players in NBA history with more than 6 rings. More rings than Michael Jordan. 9 players. Bill Russell just happens to be number 1 with 11. But again, his is okay, it's a different league, so okay. And there are 3 other players that had 6. Any of them to go? Robert Horry had 7. Big Shot Horry, fucking bum, man. Whatever. Like, what? What we talking about, man? Like, what we talking about? Make your argument for Jordan. I have no problem with making your argument for Jordan, but just tell the story the right way. If they anointed Jordan after 3 rings, he's clear cut and leagues ahead of everybody. Why can't we do that for Brian? I mean, the other guy. Considering he's obviously leagues ahead of everybody else too. Kawhi cut. I don't want to hear that Kawhi shit no more. I'm gonna keep it real. Me personally, I'm not even entertaining the whole Kawhi was better than Bron thing. That was never the case. Ever. That was never the case. Never. He went up against a injury-ravaged Golden State. And didn't Golden State still take them 6? Like, what? Like, no. Cut it. Stop it. No. You want to talk Durant? We can talk Durant, even though we all know what Durant had to do to get his 2 rings. Durant is on the same path as the other guy. He left and went and got his rings in Miami, but them 2 rings don't mean half as much as that one in Cleveland. So his legacy, if we keeping it real, still don't really mean shit. He's 6'10", monster, scorer. That's about it. Another player that couldn't get it done, and he had one of the best rosters ever assembled. Couldn't get it done. 3 MVPs on that team and couldn't get it done. Then it's, hey, the narrative of, well, Brian needs a super team, he needs teammates. Did you know, in that same span that I gave you, so I gave you 6 years, so for the first 3, when he didn't have Pippen, he won anything. They got Pippen, didn't win anything, but do you also know that Michael Jordan never won without Pippen or Phil Jackson? That never happened. We don't talk about that, do we? No, all we talk about is how Pippen was a low draft pick apparently. Who the fuck are y'all? What are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about? Pippen wasn't no goddamn low draft pick. What are y'all talking? Whatever, bro. Whatever. Yeah, apparently Jordan made Pippen. Come on, man. What? Why can't anybody ever get close? You feel me? Why can't anybody ever get close to Michael Jordan? Why is that? And for me, honestly, the most damning bit of information about Michael Jordan for me in regards to LeBron is the fact that he goes so far out of his way to never mention him, never really speak about him too much, and he goes out of his way to steal any lightning Brian has. Y'all might not have seen it, but this happened when in Game 5 against Miami a couple of days ago, right? When LeBron and them decided they was gonna go with the Kobe Black Mamba jerseys, because everybody thought they was gonna close their ass out in Game 5, not Game 6. Do you know that Jordan sanctioned and signed off on basically redistributing The Last Dance in movie theaters the same day? Why? Now, we all were wrong. Most people were wrong in assuming that LA was gonna close them out. LA ended up losing that game. But around the world, a lot of people thought that they were gonna close them out. Why bring this Last Dance bullshit back up on the same day they go decide we gonna wear these jerseys? At some point, we're gonna have to acknowledge the fact that even he is threatened by LeBron James. It is what it is. Now, I can sit and go down LeBron's resume and everything he's done. It don't matter. Shit about Brian. This is just about bringing all you Jordan lovers to earth. That's all. That's all.